Thanks for staying tuned. I'm Colin Abrams with the HGP Sportscast. The Ministry of Education launches the 57th National School Swimming and Track and Field Championships. You'll hear more in this report. The championships are scheduled for November 27 to December 1. November 27 will see swimmers from across Guyana compete at the National Aquatic Center, Liliendal, and cyclists will compete at the National Park. From November 28, the action will move to the National Track and Field Center, Lenora, for all track and field events. Chief Education Officer Mr. Marcel Hudson expressed the excitement of the Ministry of Education to host the 57th National Championships.
These championships, they're here to stay. Because they are in keeping with the agenda, the broader agenda of the Ministry of Education.
He also added that sports is an important activity for young people.
Sports, physical education, etc., those fields are critical to the broader agenda of educating our students. As Mr. Mondale posited earlier, we are interested in creating rounded students. We don't want to have students that are off balance, but students who are rounded, students who are able to think logically and excel in terms of the field in academics. And
Mr. Hudson noted that from these games, the country has had great talents who have represented Guyana exceptionally and believes that this year's championships will be one of the greatest.
The Guyana Teachers Union is extremely happy to be a part of this significant event where we not only recognize children and athletes for their academic contributions, but we support them in the field of sports.
Mark Light, president of the Guyana Teachers Union, he further stated that this year will be historic since it will be the first time the championships will be run on a synthetic track, and with the union along with the Ministry of Education and its stakeholders hope that this year's event will be second to none. The National Schools Championships will host in excess of 1,500 athletes from across Guyana, traditionally representing Guyana's largest school sport event. And in hockey, the national ladies in a second stalemate against the Jamaican women, and the Guyanese men upset the top of the leaderboard, Guatemala men. More from Stanford Howard.
The national ladies took to the field in the hot midday Jamaican sun in their third game of the competition. The Guyanese team standing second on the leaderboard for the women in the Central American and Caribbean Games. Started off well, keeping abreast with the leaders, the Jamaican women. Both teams with a good defense play. Neither teams managed to capitalize in terms of goals, and the first half ended in a stalemate. After resumption, both teams came out with the same capacity to score goals. But just as in the first half, both sides were goalless, and the game ended 0-0. The national men competed later in the afternoon against Guatemala. It was the Guyanese men who slid past Puerto Rico 4-1 in their first match. They ended the first half with a 1-0 lead. The Guyanese men scored 2 more goals and then an own goal ricochet of the Guatemalan goalkeeper for the 4th goal saw the national men sealing the win 4-0. The national ladies will be back in action tomorrow from 10:30 hours against the Bermudan women, and the men will take on the Panamanians at 14:30 hours. For HGP Sports, I'm Stanford Howard.
Thank you, Stanford. The Ghana Football Federation names 18-man squad for the international friendly against Trinidad. Also, a locally based squad is in training for possible selection for the Indonesian international friendly. You'll hear more in this report. Interim head coach of the senior national men's team, the Golden Jaguars, Wayne Dover, has selected an 18-man squad for the upcoming international friendly against Trinidad and Tobago on November 14. The squad consists of 15 overseas-based and 4 locally-based players. Debutants Kendall Daniel, Devontae Small, Daniel Joda, and Jelani Smith bring needed skills to the national setup. Looking ahead to the Trinidad game, Dover said, "We are expecting a very tough game where Trinidad will bring it to us, especially since they're coming off from a 2-1 victory against the United States. They should be confident, but we are preparing for that. We will try to give a good account of ourselves, give a good match, and get a positive result." Meanwhile, a 24-man locally based squad has begun training from November 5, as Guyana also prepares to face Indonesia in an international friendly on November 25 in Indonesia. Dover said the squad will be available for selection. He is pleased with the attendance thus far, and the players have shown a commitment to fitness, which is one of the crucial areas. Cricket, Pakistan's chance to host the World T20 champions West Indies has hit a snag. Here's more from Stanford Howard.
Pakistan efforts to host World T20 champions Windies for a 3-match T20 international series have hit a roadblock. The tour, originally scheduled for later this year, has been put on hold. Sportsmax TV, the website of the official Caribbean broadcaster, said security was the main concern, suggesting that several big-name Windies players are not keen on visiting Pakistan, especially in the light of what was reported by Riyad Emred when he played in Afghanistan early this year. Sources from the Caribbean also said that the Pakistan Cricket Board's decision to rely on their own security personnel and not employ the service of Eastern Star International, owned by an international security expert, Reg Dickinson, was one of the reasons for the players and the FICA, the international players' body, not being happy. Eastern Stars has been phenomenal in overseeing the security arrangements for the Pakistan Super League final and the World 11 Pakistan T20 series in Lahore earlier this year. Dave Cameron, the Cricket West Indies president, toured Pakistan to have a first-hand look at the arrangements during the World 11 series last month, but had categorically warned that it would be a big challenge to convince the Windies players to tour Pakistan. For HGP Sports, I'm Stanford Howard.
And that has brought us to the end of this edition of the HGP Sportscast. Before we go, always remember, adversity causes some men to break, others break records. Goodbye.